Right, as you might probably know if you have watched some of my older videos, I've been very inconsistent with waking up early in the past while. In the past few months, I've been very out of touch. I've been waking up at 7 a.m., I've been waking up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., even 10 a.m. at some point. And so this is a big drop from the fact that I used to wake up at 6 a.m., sometimes even 5 a.m. And so I've tried so many different things in order to try to get myself to wake up early again. I put more alarms. I've changed like the different sounds that the alarm makes, the different ringtones. I've tried to manage my sleep better. I've tried to manage my time better in order to go to sleep earlier. But for some reason, in these past few months, I've just not been able to make that kind of progress and finally wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. as I wanted to. You know, with some exceptions, I've managed to wake up at 6 a.m. With some exceptions, I've managed to wake up at 5 a.m. a few times. But outside of these exceptions, it's only been 7 a.m. It's only been 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And one day in my habit tracker, I wrote down 10 a.m. Like, imagine that. 10 a.m. was the time when I used to wake up like 3 years ago, when I was the most unproductive, the most wasteful, the most horrible human being I could ever remind myself of. And here I was, waking up at 10 a.m. again. And so you can probably imagine how frustrating this felt for me. Waking up late again, it just made me feel so unproductive, so lethargic. It just made me feel like I was pussifying myself. I was trying to find excuses, oh, it's just things are not always going to be great. Things are not always going to go your way. And yeah, that's the truth. Things will not always go your way. And yet we can always try to make efforts in order to make things go our way. And sometimes they do. And I think I found a proper and useful tactic that I think will help you build this habit of waking up early. In the past almost 1 week, I've managed to wake up at 6 a.m. sharp. With the only exception being that I once woke up at 6:12 a.m., right? Instead of 6 a.m. sharp. For me, this is a huge accomplishment, considering the fact that I've used to wake up at 8 a.m. And so I want to show you exactly what I've done and how to do it and how you can implement this as well. Right, so from now on in this video, I'm going to be talking about things that are mainly practical, right? So things that you have to take action on yourself. I know this is very unattractive and people don't really want to do it. And it's been hard for me to actually get myself up and do it as well. But it is very important that you do exactly what I tell you here. And that you have some patience and that you push yourself and you write these things down that I'm going to talk to you about. Because you can make so much more happen. You can wake up early if you do this, trust me. Right, so I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to think about all of the habits that you're doing throughout the day, which are like mainly consistent, like the things that you're always doing throughout your day that you can always remember yourself doing, and write them down in very autistic details. For example, I wake up and then I get out of bed, I go to my alarm, I turn the alarm off, okay, and then I go back in my bed, I sit down in my bed, I close my eyes, I fall asleep again, and then I wake up 1 or 2 hours later, and then yada yada yada. You go on and you just write in like very autistic details about the things that you're doing. This is, for example, right? You can take the time to write this right now, just pause the video. Right, and so after you've written down the consistent habits that you keep doing throughout your days in a consistent manner, and you've written them down in very autistic detail, I want you to put a plus in front of the good habits. And for the bad habits, put a minus in front of each one. And for insignificant habits, like things that you cannot really control, things that are outside of your control, for example, having to go to the bathroom, just write like equal in front of it, like 2 lines horizontally, right? And so after you found out what the bad habits throughout your routine are, like the things that you don't really want, but you keep doing, the things that you want to change, well, now you've actually become conscious of these things. Because maybe up until this point, you've only said, yeah, I wanted to wake up early, but you haven't realized what was going on, which was making you not wake up early. For example, this was my problem, right? I didn't exactly know why I was not waking up early. I just kept waking up at 8 a.m. when I wanted to wake up at 6 a.m. And so after I wrote down my morning routine in very autistic details, I realized that once my alarm sounds at 6 a.m. in the morning, I get up and in like a very sleepy state, I just turn the alarm off and I go straight back into bed. I just sit down in bed and I'm like, oh, I'll just sit here for a few moments, right? And then I fall asleep again because I'm not fully awake. And then I wake up 1 or 2 hours later and then boom, like the same thing happens and I ruin my day again. And I feel bad and I feel horrible and yada, yada, yada. And so once I found out that I used to wake up and then go to my alarm and then just shut it off and then go back into bed and just sit there for a moment and fall asleep, I became conscious of the fact that I was doing this. And once you become conscious of the things that you're doing wrong and the things that you want to change, it is so much easier to do so while being conscious of that. You have to bring the unconscious, the things that you're not really conscious about, the things that have become automated throughout your nervous system, throughout your life. You have to bring those things out into the conscious, right? The things that you usually would do without even like a second thought, without like actually thinking about it. You have to make an effort and bring them into the conscious world where you can actually realize what's going on and you can control what is going on. And so once I realized that I'm doing this, once I realized that I'm turning my alarm off and then I'm going straight back into bed and sleeping for like an extra 2 hours, the next day when I woke up and I went to my alarm and I turned it off, I reminded myself, alright, so now, although I'm very sleepy, although I feel like very, very tired and I would just love to go back into bed and do the same thing all over again, I'm not gonna do that. Because I know I'm gonna feel horrible again. Because I know I'm gonna wake up like 2 hours later, I'm gonna feel stupid. I'm gonna feel slow, I'm gonna feel bad about myself. I'm just gonna go straight to the bathroom, right? I'm just gonna go straight to the bathroom after this, and so that my sleepiness can wear away a little bit. So that I can come back and I can meditate and I can pray in a useful manner. If you are conscious while performing the habit, you can consciously choose to avoid making the same mistakes again. And if you keep doing this for long enough, it will become part of who you are. It will become like an automated thing that you just wake up at 6 a.m. and you no longer just go and turn off your alarm and go back into bed. No, now you just wake up at 6 a.m., turn your alarm off, and you just go straight to the bathroom. And basically, this idea, it works for any kind of habit that you want to get rid of. You've realized what the problem is, you're conscious of it, and now you can force yourself to be more conscious when that time of doing that certain habit has arrived, and now you can choose to consciously avoid that mistake. And you do that for long enough until it becomes automated again, until it becomes like a subconscious thing that you just do, but in a good manner, things that you actually want to do. Something that could help you fix this into your mind a little bit better would be writing down clear statements of what you will do at a certain time. So, for example, if you want to wake up early, then you will say, after my alarm sounds at 6 a.m., I will get straight out of bed and I will go to the bathroom, right? You write down clear statements of what you are going to do once a certain thing happens. And you want to write these statements down in this kind of format. So, once I am doing a current habit, I will do a new habit at this time. Once I wake up at 6 a.m., which is the old habit, which I always do, I will do the new habit, which is actually getting out of bed and going straight to the bathroom at this certain time. In this example, the time is 6 a.m. But in other examples, you have to set the time. You have to be very specific about what you're going to do, or else you're not going to do it. You have to be very specific up to the time, up to the very moment. After I shut down my computer, I'm gonna go straight outside. I'm gonna go for a 10-minute walk with my dog. After I sit down at the dinner table, I will be very conscious of the fact that I have a big tendency to eat whatever comes in my sight, even if it's not good for me. And I will consciously make the decision to only eat this kind of thing. Right? You need to be very clear about these statements. And one thing which will help you become more conscious of the habit that you're trying to avoid and the habit that you're trying to build is actually putting some sort of indicators, some sort of signs throughout your environment of what you want to do. So for example, I've written down on a sheet of paper in bright red colors, big red capital letters, 6 a.m., wake up. And I have that taped up on my wall, right? So right when I wake up, it's right in front of me as well. So I just have to see it. It's right there. It's written up in big red capital letters, 6 a.m. wake up. Well, I know that now, once I go and turn the alarm off, all right, it's 6 a.m. I have to wake up. I must not go back to sleep or else the same thing will happen and I will feel bad again and I will waste more time. So I go straight to the bathroom and I move on with my day. And so it can be very useful to put certain indicators or signs in your environment to help you become more conscious of the habit that you're trying to change for the better. So yeah, man, I really hope that you have gained some value from this video. If you want to subscribe to my self-improvement YouTube channel, where I've been making self-improvement videos for more than a year now, then you can certainly do that. You can like this video, you can share this video with other people who you think will also be able to gain some value from this. If you want to join my self-improvement Discord server, there will be a link to that in the description. And if you want to go on a free self-improvement one-to-one coaching call with me, where we can talk about anything self-improvement related for free, then all you have to do is you have to click the Calendly link in the description of this video. So yeah, man. I really hope that you gained some value from this, and I really hope this advice helps you actually wake up early again and change any kind of other habit throughout your day which you think needs to be changed. So yeah, man. Good luck, bro. I'll see you next time.